live.
You're live.
I don't think we're connected. I don't think we're connected to
YouTube.
You're on YouTube.
Yeah.
Connected to the conference
okay.
bridge.
All right.
Can you see you?
I don't see this.
Jeff, can you see us?
Yes.
You can.
Well, he's on the bridge.
Okay.
Yes, I can.
Okay, here we go now. This is from YouTube land.
Thanks for your patience, everyone, while we're trying out this new technology technology.
Okay, can you you can't run the bridge.
Let's delay it.
The bridge. Can you get on the bridge? Oh. This is what everyone's seeing on YouTube right now.
Be socially engaged during this time of what everyone's calling social distance. So the CDC and the government, everyone's asking us to maintain this social distance. Everything's canceled. All of the sporting events are canceled. Pretty much many of the schools are now canceled. Several of the colleges have gone to online. So we're finding ourselves in a position of what should we do? We should hunker down. So I know a lot of people have been out shopping. I'm not sure why toilet paper is the big wait a minute. Sounds like maybe you can't hear me. So hold on.
Hang on. Morgan Rose, can you hear me?
I can hear, but I think that's because I'm on the phone with you.
Right, are you on YouTube?
Yeah, and I can't hear on YouTube.
Do you want to mute that and see? Okay, let me see if I can
turn up your volume.
Turn up my volume, maybe. Let's see.
It still says waiting for Karen and Jeffrey.
I'm watching it here live on another reload.
Let's see.
I'm supposed to go to YouTube. Oh, there's Verity.
Yeah, so I'm trying to connect these two.
Just need to turn off your phone, Taylor. You can't have the phone. It's making the big.
Okay. That's Rosie's gone now. Okay.
Tay, can you hear me on YouTube?
She can't talk to you, but she can type.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, we just.
Oh, perfect. Okay, great.
Yeah, no, this works.
Great.
It's just this that we're worried about. Can't get the guides on.
Okay, great.
You're live, huh?
Okay, excellent. Sorry about that. We had some major technological issues here. So again, our topic is how to be socially engaged during this time of social distance. And again, the CDC, the government, and everyone is really urging us to maintain this position of social distance. So what that means is that, we really should all be hunkering down. I know a lot of people, again, have been out shopping. I'm not sure what the big toilet paper shortage is all about. If anyone knows what that's about, let me know. We did go out to pick up some items, and I'll give you a list of what we got just for the funsy of it. But the entire Walmart usually has a full wall of toilet paper, which was out. And I just thought that was, in the face of adversity here, we all do need to have a little bit of humor. So I thought that was a good laugh. And
for some reason, I can't bring the bridge up. So that's
okay. Well, we're just going to work off of this then for this initial. And we did have, we had some people standing by to interview Joe and Jeff. If you guys want to just pop onto YouTube.
Well, no, they can't talk on YouTube. So I got them here.
Right.
I'm trying to bridge the two.
I can hear you.
Okay, great. Well,
I can hear you.
Maybe when we get to the questions, if you can talk loud and we can just see if
yeah,
people
sure. We can translate.
Yeah, we can translate. But essentially, so many people are separated from their loved ones, their parents, their children, their siblings. some even their soulmates, because if they've traveled abroad, they are now stuck there with the travel bans. Businesses are closing down and, requesting people work from home. And, the great news is, look at this technology. So we're all socially engaged right here on YouTube. You may be home by yourself. You may be home with your kids, your family, whomever you're home with. The bottom line is, it's really important for us to all stay socially engaged. It's important for your health, and for us not to let this sort of uncertainty that's going on in the world, and again, this social distancing, affect our happiness. And that's why we're doing this. If you are watching the news, which Jeffrey and I are not, they're really harping on the tough times, the bad things that are going on. And nobody's talking about the fact that, hey, we can have a conversation on YouTube, or I can FaceTime you, or, we had a great call this morning with Jeff and Joe and Bonnie and Morgan Rose and myself. And, I didn't really feel like I was missing out on anything at this point. So it's really important for us to, kind of take the bull by the horns and stay engaged. So first and foremost, I was going to say, personally, we want to stay engaged personally. And that's really important. Jeff and Joe, I'm not sure if you can hear me or not, but
no, they can hear us. Yeah. I'm trying to bridge these two together for everybody out in YouTube land. We're trying a new bridge, and I'm trying to hook this up. I have them on another screen here. But if you want to engage them, Karen, you can ask questions while I try to get this thing up. Do you have questions for Jeff?
So some questions for Jeff and Joe is, how do we, let's see, Joe specifically, let me start with you. I know that you've got some teenage kids. So there's a lot of people out here in YouTube land that have teenage kids, or even younger, and there's kids, there might even be some teenagers on here. So how do we talk to our kids about the social distancing? Like, they want to go hang out at a party, and obviously I think that that's all coming to a halt. Or even if you have kids in college, everything's online. So how do you talk to people about, maintaining social distance, but keeping engaged?
Yeah, and you can check that while Joe's talking. But go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, so I think for me, I think back to a conversation I had just last night. I was talking to one of my friends. As you know, I'm a baseball coach, and I was talking to one of my friends about what we're going to do if the season gets canceled, and if the high school season gets canceled. What I found was, one of my friends actually said, what we're going to do is exactly what they're going to tell us, to do, which is, this is way bigger than baseball, and it's way bigger than going to the movies or going to a party with your friends. And to be completely honest, I think today's kids are actually a lot more prepared for this than we are, because they're already used to communicating with their devices all the time. I mean, that's how they do 99% of the communicating.
Point.
So
yes.
For me, it's like just making sure that they understand that, like, this is a temporary thing, and we'll go back to normal life, and then after that, hopefully we'll be able to utilize some of this technology later down the line, because of we're going to make good out of this. You know what I mean? By using this technology now, it'll kind of propel us to continue using it after the quarantine and everything is done.
Exactly. I'm not sure if everyone in YouTube land was able to hear. Joey's on a different format.
Jeff says that he can.
Oh, okay, great.
So Jeff, you can hear okay over on YouTube?
I can hear you.
Okay, great.
I can hear you on the bridge. I'm not sure about YouTube. I've got the sound turned down.
So just to reiterate, so Joe is a parent as well as a baseball coach.
Okay, let's just find out. Taylor Ann, can you hear?
A lot of us I want to say I've heard people complain that we've gotten too technical. They were raised. So at this point, I think that is a great thing that they're able to keep socially engaged and keep with their.
That's this over here.
Yeah, so we can just turn off the volume on that and see if that helps. And if you have any questions about how to keep socially engaged during this time of social distance, put that in the chats. But Jeff and Joe, I want to put out to you. So, what are some ways that you're maintaining that, social engagement during this time, whether personally or professionally?
You want me to go with that?
Yeah, go ahead, Jeff. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I adapted it a while ago because I actually worked in the video teleconferencing world for a while for Black Box Network Services.
Mm-hmm.
And back then it was a big deal. You had to buy, thousands and thousands of dollars worth of equipment. Now, literally, I've got it in my car as I drive. Instead of, whether it be business or personal, instead of just talking on the phone or texting, which I also do, even while I'm driving, don't tell the police this, but I have it on FaceTime or any other people that I can get on, because I just think it's better. Just like you, Aaron, I wouldn't know that you just kind of laughed if I was just talking to you on the phone. But now I can see that you're smiling, and you can tell, especially in a sales situation, you're talking to somebody, you can see their reaction.
Right. I love that. And it's so much better than texting only, where we might capitalize something and you might think I'm screaming at you instead of laughing, right?
Right.
So that's a great point. So just to reiterate, for those of you, I think we are in a world where being able to see people, even though we're not with them, is prevalent for everyone, whether you've got Zoom, whether you've got FaceTime. I think Facebook actually has an application for that now. Pretty much to everyone, right?
Well, yeah, I think we want to kind of talk about the business side of this, because many companies are sending people home to work from home.
Right.
Amazon. Yeah. So,
right.
Hey, Joe, you're talking to some customers out there, I know, that are trying to work from home. So if you could kind of share some of the things you're doing to help businesses so that they can work from home.
Yeah, so I'm kind of taking a multifaceted approach. The first thing I'm doing is I'm reaching out to businesses in specific industries, and I should probably back up and start by saying that there's a really fine line that we're walking here. Like, we don't want to look like we're war profiteers, or disease profiteers. But at the same time, that fine line is, look, if you're sending all these people home to work, then they've got to be able to work as if they're sitting right next to you as they would normally in a cubicle or in an office environment. So, I'm having to convey that message, and I'm reaching out to, the education arena, reaching out to the healthcare arena. I just spoke with somebody today who said they were concerned about their business, and they have a home healthcare business. And they said, I'm in startup mode, and, maybe I picked the wrong time. And I kind of talked them off the ledge, and I said, this is actually the perfect time for you. And I say that, ubiquitous. You have no idea what device you're calling from or hearing from. So,
okay, now that makes sense. And I think you bring up a good point. In times like these, when people start trying to work on the challenges, you don't want to feel like you're out there just to make a profit. And at OTG, we say this all the time, right? We just want to help other people. I mean, this technology obviously can help them work from home. So I think you're right on all those points, and it's interesting. That's your laptop that's making all the noise.
Yes, but there's no service, so I was just trying to keep it on one.
I'm not sure I understand.
There's no service here, and they said it was freezing.
That's out in the internet. That's in the internet land. So we can at least see what they're getting here. So I'm trying to show Karen how this works. So we're watching YouTube down here. And now it's off, but
Yeah, I would
you're live though.
Okay, great.
So this is what they see.
Joe,
so now we're not frozen anymore.
Right. I think that's just a great point because I did a lot of research recently on that very topic, and a lot of people are monetizing it, and people are getting gouged. For example, I can't remember. I think it was masks or gloves. I don't recall what it was, but I looked it up, and the price point was like 300% of what it normally is. And, that's just wrong. During this time when everyone's trying to stay healthy, not just for themselves, but also for the betterment of other people, then we have, certain people and businesses gouging us. And that never feels good. Right.
Yeah, I'm just interested too. So Karen's on in Munich. Karen, I know you can't talk, but if you could just type back, what's it like there? Are businesses encouraging people to work from home in Munich? Maybe you can just type that to her as well. But I'm just curious too. So Joe and Jeff, we have a couple other countries on here as well. So it's kind of interesting, because you see things on the news. I don't really watch the news, but you look up stuff. I'm just wondering what the layperson says there. Like Karen's just like us, just out there in the world. What's it feel like? Are they running out of toilet paper? I mean, it's funny, but it isn't. It's people are panicking, right? They start stocking up on stuff. So, what are you guys seeing in Arizona? I mean, have you gone to the stores? Or things, the shelves starting to get bare?
Go ahead, Jeff.
I was going to say, yeah, I kind of forgot about it. I went into Fry's Marketplace just to buy I was going to buy dinner and some other vegan type food. But just as a
thanks, Jeff.
Just as a curiosity, I went by the toilet paper aisle, and it was just empty. I felt like I was in, World War II area or whatever. It was just gone. It was gone. And then also, I guess, a lot of the bleaches and water. The only water left was distilled water, which I guess if you got to have, you got to have. But I think toilet paper is the last thing I'd worry about, but I'm fine.
No, but it is interesting. Why toilet paper? I don't know, but it just shows that people are storing up. It's our daughter just called us and out in East Hampton, and the first case was in East Hampton of someone not traveling. Right there in the local town. So it starts to become real when you've got someone right in town that wasn't traveling. So I guess what we're trying to do, and we're trying to show here with this session, is that we can obviously talk to a lot of people. You can stay connected. You don't actually have to be face to face. I mean, and you don't really want to worry about it. But also, I think being socially conscious and not spreading anything around. And we had a plan to drive across the country, in April. Not sure we're going to do that, and less about worrying about Karen and I. It's just we don't want to be the spreader. You hit gas stations and restaurants and coffee shops as you go across the country. In a sense, you're touching a lot of different points. Do you really need to be doing that right now? I guess is a question. Right. So it's not a fear question. It's just a common sense question for the group, right?
Right. Because Jeffrey's concern was that if we're driving across country, touching these things, and then we get to, let's say, where our daughter is, and if we brought something that we picked up along the way because we were being socially irresponsible by not following the social distance practice that's in place right now, we would feel terrible. And
right.
So instead of living in a state of fear, I think what we need to do is refocus and live in a state of thoughtfulness. We need to be very thoughtful in what we're doing and our actions. And by being thoughtful, we can raise the vibrational frequency among, people, instead of being in a panic mode, which really doesn't do anybody any good. Being in a panic mode, to me, it's like being in traffic and complaining about it, right? Instead of, if you're in traffic and if you're with somebody, you can have a great conversation, or you can, if you're by yourself, you can meditate. You can use all of life experiences to be thoughtful and raise, positivity, or you can do the opposite. So the purpose of doing this, and, talking with Joe and Jeff and getting, everyone's collective opinions is, how can we continue to, spend our time and focus on all of the positivity in this time of uncertainty,
right?
And also be, be compassionate. We certainly don't want to take that away.
Yeah. So just, Joe, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, we're trying to keep everything really positive here. So this isn't, fear to travel across the country, but it's a question of social responsibility, going across the country and touching lots of states and lots of cities, and then get to the other end of the U.S. here on the East Coast and show up at my daughter's house, right? I mean, thoughts on that? Don't want to sound paranoid, but we also have to be careful, right?
We need to be thoughtful.
Yep, no, 100%. And I think one of the things that that I forgot to touch on, speaking about vibrational frequency, one of the really awesome things that that I have found is in some really good corporate responsibility and corporate stewardship. A lot of these companies, now it's a win-win for them, but a lot of these companies are actually giving away some of their collaboration tools and video conferencing services, and allowing people to work from home remotely. They're actually giving it away for free. Like I said, it does help them in the long run if they stay with them, but it also helps these businesses who have never worked or had remote workforces before to just have these tools accessible and at their disposal. So kudos to them. I mean, there's a number of them. Log Me In, I've heard from about 15 times this morning. Ring Central is another one that I've heard from. Net to Phone.
Yeah.
Carano. So a bunch of companies have come out and said, hey, we're going to help these industries and help people and do it not because, just because of the times that we're living in. So I think that's really awesome that there are companies out there that kind of have a conscience, and, it helps them. It could help them in the long run as well. So
right. Totally agree. I actually saw an email from 5-9 today too that I thought was so beautiful, because they have implemented a work from home, and schools are closed for many of these people. So they said, how do I deal with working from home, talking to clients with my children in the background? And they said, you know what, everyone understands that you're a parent first, right? And it's perfectly fine for you to say, if your kids are in the background, for you to just say, excuse me for 1 second, or even bring your kids onto these video calls, introduce them, and then let them, continue on to play. It was a really nice email that 5-9 sent out. And I also just want to say, we've got Karen from Munich, Germany on, and I asked her what the status is over there, and they have closed the schools there. So, that seems to be across the board, and they are asking people to, maintain this social distance over there. And it sounds like they may have been even more proactive in Germany than we were here, since we've not closed all of the schools. It's just starting. I think several universities went to online, and then I heard in Ohio they closed all of the schools, but I've not heard anything here in Colorado yet. So we're getting there a little bit, more slowly than Europe is. So we tend to be a little slow on a lot of those things.
Yeah.
Jeffrey, what do you have there?
What'd you say?
Busy.
Oh yeah. Oh,
This is my kid. Busy.
yeah. We get that's so great. We got to figure out. That's the thing. I got to talk to these guys at Unibridge so we can bridge these two things together. I think it's a problem. I have a browser issue on machine here. MacBook Air has
What browser is it?
yeah, MacBook Air and Google. I've got a mobile app up for YouTube, so I got to fix that. But we'll bridge these together. You guys can't see Jeff Barnes here with his dog. Jeff, you guys kind of look alike.
Twins.
We do. We're twins.
Twins.
No, but Karen brings up a good point. My Karen here, and Karen in Munich, thank you for your comments. So great. I agree. Synchronicity. She just happened to be online when she saw us go live.
Oh my gosh.
We didn't advertise this thing. We just popped it up. So that's wild. So great to have you on.
Yes.
But Karen Pearl is saying is, I think that's really key. A lot of people think like, oh, I'm going on video. I got to do my hair and makeup. I mean, get my, green room set up. And I mean, it's crazy. We've been doing voice over IP and video for so long. And I remember we did demos back when we had IP52A. This is going back 15 years ago. I'd have a cocktail party and people would come in. I don't know why. It was a lot of women. When they saw themselves on a camera, they jump back like, holy crap, I'm on camera. I said, when they got off camera, I said, you do know I could still see you, right?
I think it's actually a beautiful thing because our vision of ourselves is obviously that much better than when we see it on screen, right? That's why we.
Well, I'm just saying, you're bringing up a very good point to communicate. Like, Joe just put his dog up. So yeah, if you got kids in the background, maybe you got laundry hanging behind you. I mean, whatever it is, it's like life. It's, everybody wakes up in the morning. Everybody may have, bedhead, or you might have just spilled your coffee on a white shirt. Like, I mean, this happens to everybody. It's like, you can't go crazy in a world like this where you can use these great tools and be able to communicate with people from afar. I mean, I think that's a beautiful point. Kids crying in the background, whatever. Okay.
It's all normal.
Yeah.
These are the things the joyous things, or kids playing in the background. These are the joyous things of our life. And, in a way, and 5-9 was talking about what a blessing that you get to have this extra time with your kids, right? Most of us don't have that. My kids are on and they both live far away from us. And I wish that you were right here with me right now. I'd be making some more vegan banana oatmeal muffins or something fun that you guys want. But those who have younger kids, look at this as an opportunity to have extra time, quality time with your kids and your family. And, and if you have a significant other that is working from home as well, I mean, that's all really great stuff. And there's also been a lot of studies about people who work from home are more efficient. They get a lot more done in a lot less time.
Well,
right?
and we're going to have to run this thing again. I didn't want to shut it down because it was fun that we've got people on here, but we're going to get this thing. I'm going to talk to Dean over at Univoip and get this bridge linked in because I want everyone on YouTube to see you guys. Obviously, they can hear you and you're commenting, which is great.
Okay.
So,
if everyone's going to bring their dog, this is Sugar Baby. She's completely blind. She'll be 14
there she is.
In April. And she's the prettiest girl in the whole world. In the dog world. In the whole dog world.
The other thing I wanted to kind of touch on, to your point, Karen, that I think is, we kind of are forgetting, a lot of times when we work in an office environment, you have your buddies, you have your people who are kind of like on your side, and then you have your adversaries, right? Mm-hmm. And I've seen situations in offices where he gets extremely
volatile,
yes. And I think when you have to do this and you have kids running around in the background, or you spill your shirt, there's a human element to it that kind of de-escalates, and it humanizes that person. And now they're not just the jerk across the way that always argues with you in a board meeting or in a sales meeting, or now they're a human being. They're just like you and I, and I think that that's something that we all could use more of as a society.
No, that's a great point. That's a great point, Joe.
Spot on.
Yeah, I mean, that we've had these conversations too, Joe, with the OTG family about LinkedIn and just social media, and you did a great video last night. So if you guys are out there, if you haven't seen Joe Faraday on LinkedIn, check out his video with his boys. But those kinds of things, I really like the fact that you had the boys in there. Now you were touching on all this technology and what we're able to do, but bringing in the boys in there, your dad. It's great for me to see your boys walking behind you there. It's so great. I didn't realize. Yeah, I never saw them side by side like that. They look so much alike.
Well, they're twins.
It's crazy, right?
That's why they're twins. I guess what I expect.
Funny how that happens.
But it's to your point. Right. All of a sudden, you're just another guy walking down the streets of Arizona, and you got two boys with you, and you're talking about ways to help people in business, but it does personalize it, and it builds. I think it builds upon your character. You're not just somebody trying to make a profit off this. You're really just trying to help people out. And I think, again, like this, these technologies are great so that people don't have to fly across the country or fly across the world. Karen in Munich can be right on here live with us. I don't know what time it is over there. It's probably in the middle of the night. What are they, Karen? I think Karen, you
probably 10 hours ahead.
Yeah,
9:30 at night.
Yeah. Karen is Munich. Let's see, it's just after noon here, so you must be late at night, maybe 10 o'clock at night, I think. But which is great. Mm-hmm. We can tell you a bedtime story.
Yeah. Joe, I want to expound upon that because I think that's so great. I think everyone could hear, but what he was saying is sometimes when you are in an office environment, there can be some animosity or negativity. You've got a lot of people in a space coming, in with different situations on any given day. And, once you're talking to somebody from home and they've got kids in the background or they pick up their dog, it humanizes them. And all of a sudden you're able to really see their soul instead of, business Bob that you had projected upon them. And I think that's a beautiful thing and something that is so positive coming out of this social distance. We're actually getting closer to some people because the boundaries are now they're different. They're like Joe said, the boundaries they're more human and less office rules. And I think that's just a super, super valid point. I wanted to say that I'm not sure. So it's only 7:30 p.m. in Germany, but Karen in Germany also said that in addition to people working from home and the schools being closed over there, that all the concerts have been canceled, the events are closed, etc. And one thing that, we talked about companies gouging, I do want to say and shout out and kudos to airlines and hotels and even the ski resorts. I got some emails today on this from the ski resorts that everybody is being very lenient on vacation policies and cancellation policies. If usually with the ski resort, if you don't buy that insurance, you're on the hook for your hotel and your lift tickets, and they're lifting all of that right now. Sure. And there's also been some talk that they may even close some of the ski resorts. So we'll keep you posted on that since Jeffrey and I live at Copper Mountain. We're hoping that doesn't happen. But I will say it's been very quiet on the slopes. Very, very quiet. I'm
just wondering if anybody knows out there, Joe and Jeff, because we're seeing a lot of this. Karen said, it looks like they're being generous and genuine, but it's, I wonder if it's an insurance thing. So Carnival Cruise Line shuts down cruises for 60 days. I mean, do they get to claim that on their insurance, or if you're refunding tickets and things? I'm just curious. I mean, looking at the business side of this, does it make sense for them to go ahead and shut things down and insurance covers it? I mean, do you guys know? I'm guessing.
I'm not sure. I mean, go ahead, Jeff.
I was going to say, I don't know for sure either. I do know, ironically, right when we were starting this video here, I actually got pinged from a friend of mine who went back to law school at Mississippi State on the other side of the country. he said, have you ever heard, I was told my last semester I need to get Zoom communications. And I said, well, I can help you with that. But I just thought that was ironic right as we were starting this video. But I haven't heard if they're using insurance. It would be smart if they did.
Yeah, I don't know either. We do have some friends that are on a cruise right now.
Aren't they back on land in Mexico?
I don't think so. Are they?
Oh, I thought that was the text yesterday, but I don't know.
Okay.
They said they're from down in Mexico.
So I don't know if every single cruise line has done this. I believe that the Carnival was a voluntary shutdown, and I think they're being very socially responsible by doing that. We've got a music hall here where all the concerts are. Everything there has been postponed and canceled, and then everything as far as on mountain ski resorts, I read that there were some on mountain concerts. So a lot of people bought tickets for that, and those have all been canceled as well. And I think people are just being socially responsible by doing that right now because we're just in a state of uncertainty. I think feeling uncertain is okay as long as we, do the right things to still feel safe and be thoughtful. And again, one of the big reasons that Jeffrey and I talked about doing this is we really wanted to raise that, level of positivity among people, because it seems like so many people are, because they are housebound, they might be watching more news than usual.
Well, that brings up a good point on the news. So we usually don't watch the TV. We're watching like streaming, Netflix and Amazon. We just prefer that. Just watch it on our own terms. But we did watch a show the other night, Modern Family. I haven't seen it forever. It's freaking hilarious.
Yeah.
But the thing is, every commercial is like, watch the news at 10, updates on coronavirus. So how to protect your family. Boom, this is just coming at me every break. And I just said to Karen, it's like, I don't usually see this, but I think the average person does day in and day out. And that's a great point, Karen. It's like, we want to take the level of energy up, the positivity up, because I think if you think about this, you guys know this on this other screen over here, because I know you guys so well. The power of the human mind is we don't even know how powerful it is, but I know one thing: you can will a lot of things to happen, good and bad. And when you've got like the whole society thinking negatively as opposed to thinking positively, I just know that for a fact it's not a good thing, right? I mean, so we're trying to send a good message out there, and we have to try to uplift the social consciousness, if you will, of the masses. And it's just like TV is dangerous there, because it's Jeff just saw it pop, right? It's just in your face too. I just go check my stocks. It's like the update, right? So anyway,
it's everywhere, and it's in emails. Exponential amount of emails from the ski resorts to the banks to the service providers. I would say 80% of my emails are, in my face about this. And although I appreciate the updates, because I want to make sure that we're being socially responsible, I just don't want the negativity of it. And I think that we have an opportunity to decide if we are going to let this affect us negatively, or if we're just going to use this time to reflect on other things. One thing Jeff and I did this morning, and this is going to be like all like woo and out there, a little hippie-ish, but that's who we are, and part of what we share is normally we have a couple trips on the horizon, and they've done research that when you have something booked, a trip booked, that you actually are living in a happier state just looking forward to that. So we've got a lot of things that we had planned to do, but we're currently just tentatively on hold based on the timing. So we took a trip this morning. We transported ourselves mentally to Costa Rica, to our happy place. And this all came about when we were meditating, And the meditation was a meditation that Jeffrey and I did for 30 straight days while we were in Costa Rica, every single morning. And as we're doing the meditation, we don't usually talk through it, but we were talking about how we could actually feel that we were in the same room, sitting in the bed where we meditated for those 30 days. And the orange of the sun was, so bright and warming on us. And then we transported ourselves to this little private beach that we go to there. And we could actually hear the water lapping on the sand, and we could feel the warmth of the sun coming down on us and the sand beneath us. And I think it's really important to, your perception is your reality. So if you, want to bring more happiness and enjoyment to your life right now, when we're all a little bit more housebound, our creativity is everything right now. So enjoy these little transport trips that you can take. And if you don't have a vivid imagination like that, go online and or watch a documentary. We've been doing a lot of really great documentaries, and go to a beautiful place and just imagine that you're there. And you can really feel the same good vibes of actually being there.
Yeah.
It's a little woo-woo-y, but that's how we get through,
I couldn't agree more, Karen. And that's one of the reasons why it was so appealing to come and work with you guys, because it's not normal. It's not your average, 9-to-5 job with a boss and supervisor. I mean, the conversations that we've had, I've never been able to have with anybody in a business environment, and I would say 99% of people that I've talked to in a personal environment. So, that's what makes you guys unique. And one of the things that I love about working with you is that we're aligned, spiritually and as far as morally and ethically. It's it's doing the right thing, helping others, and yes, it comes with making money. But it's all about, if you help others and you help businesses, then everything will kind of, the money will flow if you have the right intentions.
Right. So, no, you're so right. And the whole helping others, I say it, and we say it a lot every day, and I try to say it every day, just to kind of keep ourselves on the path. If we're focused on helping others day in and day out, I mean, things come back to you. That's just the way the universe works. So I know, Joe, and thank you for those kind words, by the way. We're so glad to have you on board. But we have such a great team. And if you see the OTG video, I know you've watched it a few times. It's amazing how many people said, commented on the culture and said the OTG family. I mean, you heard that over and over again from all the people at the event, which, I think all of us, all 200 or so that are in the group make up that family. And we're all here for the same reason, right? To go help other people. And, oh, by the way, you're right. I mean, you can build an income stream. So it still takes money to live out there. So, if it didn't, we could go meditate on the mountains and wait for all this stuff to blow over and not worry about it. But we do have to interact. We're parents. We're daughters and sons, we're aunts and uncles. You have all that stuff going on. So you actually have to get out there in the environment. And I think this is the best way to do it. And this is what we're talking about here.
Awesome. I
think we'll do more of these too. Joe and Jeff, we were talking about this. I think there are a lot of people out there that don't understand how easy the technology is. I'm saying that, but I had the browser issue, so I want to connect this up. But we tested this morning, the Unibridge. Basically, it's free. You got voice, video, screen sharing. It doesn't cost anybody anything to join. So it's we want to share those technologies with everybody, just so they can kind of get an idea of the things you can do. I mean, obviously, there's a bazillion people on YouTube, so they understand that right now, but there's no communication back and forth. That's why getting this bridge integrated.
Exactly.
To show this off, right?
Right. So hopefully the next live video we do, we'll be able to have the verbal interaction as well. Listen and then respond back, and then also follow up on the live chat all at the same time. So that will really help, I think, bring us all together. And I just want to say we had the live chat going this morning, and there were 6 of us on it. And it was almost like we were having coffee together. It was really a humorous, fun, event. And although we had the social distance, I felt like I was completely right there with all of you. And it was like, it made my morning. And, Joe, just to expound upon what you said, I love that we work together. That's a great thing. But more importantly, I love that we've gotten to know each other. And, I care about as a person, regardless of work. It's like, that's the key. And that's an element I think sometimes we're missing in the work environment. People are so concerned about being professional, and where do we draw the line on all these things? Yet I feel like, in our relationships, because it's not a boss employee thing at the way that we work, we're all our own boss, right? So we all get to do what we want when we want, and we get to choose who we want to do that with. And it's so super cool. So we're not really concerned about drawing the line. And I love that, we've all been able to get to know each other, know each other's, about each other's lives. And that makes you care about the person more, and in a work environment, it's easy to not get to know somebody and keep your, emotional distance.
Yeah.
So.
I have an interesting thought. And not a lot of people will get this. I think, Jeffrey, you might. Back in 25, telecom actually hosted a seminar in Phoenix at the Ritz-Carlton, believe it or not.
Yeah.
I don't think it's there anymore, on telecommuting. And people were like, what does that mean? It was a business style thing, because back then, any person who could afford a cell phone either had a brick or something that was attached to their car with no screen. Some companies had laptops. So mobile or telecommuting meant something different. Actually, we pushed, you remember FedEx Kinko's, back then it was just Kinko's.
Yeah.
You could rent a video conference room and schedule it, but the person had to drive, 10 miles to get to a Kinko's. But it still was better, because you were across the country or whatever. And we've come a long way, because a lot of people have opted since then, and now they're kind of being forced into it. And it's a positive thing.
Jeff, it's so funny you bring that up. It's like, it was coming back to me little by little as you said it, but the video centers and Kinko's, you're right. Holy crap. That was a big deal, right? We were selling big data connections into Kinko's, so people could go there and get on a video conference like this, which now we light this stuff up basically for free, back, somebody's calling into Jeff, but at the end of the day, it's just wild how things change. I mean, a telecommuting conference back then, now, I mean, if you ever had those guys get up on stage and talk about that today, you'd think, what, are you kidding me? But back then that was state of the art, right?
Yeah.
Crazy. Good memories. Well, hey guys, we're up here at the top of the hour. Just kind of want to wrap up if you had any thoughts. So I do want to get a hold of Dean and get this Unibridge up. So this was really just a test run for us. So, we got a few friendlies out there. Thank God it's just friendlies. And we didn't advertise it ahead. And Karen from Munich, I'm so glad you were on to kind of test this with us from afar. We've got everybody else here in the U.S. But we want to do this again when we can bring YouTube together with Unibridge, so that we can actually have you can see everybody else that we have on here. So any other thoughts of wrapping, hon?
That's really it. It's, I think, a time for us to really work on positivity and enjoying the moment as it is. And, we are all in exactly where we're supposed to be in life at this exact moment. And you need to just believe in that, and believe in that journey, and believe in, where you're going. And, you can even visualize the end frames of where your journey is going to be taking you. I think that's a cool thing to, and this is just a great opportunity to have more time to do some things that, you know, are important, which are spending time with people that you love.
Yeah, bake some cookies.
Vegan cookies.
Yeah, you got a good recipe you just put out there.
I did.
Absolutely.
Did you get the recipe loaded? Because
I did.
One woman was tweaked.
Yes, there was an unhappy YouTuber because I didn't have the written recipe, so she thumbs down to me. But I'm thanking her. I'm not taking it.
No, it's like you gotta put the recipe in.
If she didn't tell me, I wouldn't have known, and so therefore I was able to add the recipe in there. So if you are watching this, maybe you could thumbs up me now because they're awesome.
Yeah.
They're really, really good.
The banana popper things, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, they're delish.
They are so good.
I need some of those.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, come on over.
All right.
I don't even know what we're talking about. Banana poppers. What is this?
Well, it was a banana oat buttons. I give myself 3 or 4 of them a day
because they're tiny. They're sugar-free, they're oil-free, they're gluten-free, and they are delish. They're so good.
Yeah.
And on that note, I think we'll have
the
one.
president is about to give a speech, so I'm going to hop off so that I can watch.
Excellent.
And
it's 1 o'clock.
Let's reconvene in a little while, maybe.
Awesome. Right. Joe and Jeff, thanks so much for being part of this, and we'll make the technology work next time. And Karen, it's so serendipitous that you happen to be on, and we are so happy that you were here with us. Taylor, I miss you like mad. Morgan Rose, I miss you like mad. And just super grateful for this time together. So
all right, guys, thanks. And remember, keep that positivity up. Just think about positive things. Everything's gonna blow over. It always does. We're gonna be fine. And take this time, as Karen said, to do the things you love to do.
And Sugar Baby's got to go. She's got to take a nap.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Wishing you great health, abundant happiness, and outrageous love.
All right, guys. Thanks.
Peace out, guys.
See ya. Bye.
Take care.
All right.
Hey, guys.